Hi, this is Mohammad Waqas from AppTech Pakistan. In our today's talk, we will discuss the architecture of MVC and how we can take benefits of MVC in ASP.NET. Before starting MVC, one thing we should understand that ASP.NET is greater than MVC. All the core services of ASP.NET like its core libraries, session management, cookie management, debugging, tracing, and all the other things, these are not part of MVC. They all are built on the top of MVC, top of ASP.NET. MVC is just a way to structure or model your software application. In MVC, all the three parts of our application like business logic, your interface, that is your presentation layer, your database, that's your model, all three components will be managed separately, and it will ease our development and maintenance. As you can see here, all the different components, like all the different parts like web forms, web pages, MVC, web API, single R, SPA, that is single page application, website, web services, all are built on the core of ASP.NET. So ASP.NET is greater than MVC. And in MVC we can just structure our application. If MVC doesn't mean that we have to learn a new language. If you have enough experience on ASP.NET, you won't feel like you are switching from one technology to other, and still you don't need to switch your job to MVC. Working of MVC is very simple. There are three components like model, that is your database, views, interface or response to the user, controller that manage the route between your model and view. Working is very simple. Once the page is requested by the user, it first hit the specific controller. Then controller then do some stuff like it will talks to your model, talks to your view, talks to your database. It may access your model, then it's a specific view that is bind to that view that is bind to a specific model, and the response will be a page to the user, and this cycle goes on. So let's make it happen. Let's create a simple MVC application in which we'll just create a simple controller, and then we will see how this cycle, this MVC cycle works, this model view controller cycle works. So I'm using Microsoft Visual Studio Professional 2013. So let's create an application, new project. Okay, I will select ASP.NET empty website, or I can also select ASP.NET MVC4 web application. So I would prefer you should select ASP.NET MVC4 web application. Name it my first MVC app. Okay, it will first ask you what you want to create, either an intranet application or an intranet application. You want to create an empty website. These all are built-in template of that comes with Visual Studio 2013. I will select internet application. Here you can also select your view engine. You can select Razor view engine, or you can select ASPX view engine. I would prefer you should select Razor engine because compatibility of MVC is MVC is basically very much compatible with Razor view engine. So it's taking too much time, I think. Okay, so our project has been created successfully. Okay, before going to start the process of coding, here you can see the directory structure that is maintained by your by default, that is maintained by your MVC application. Here you have a controller. By default we have home and account controller. You have one model. The model can be created using the code first approach of entity data model, or you can also use model first approach. You can also use database first approach. All the three approaches are somewhat similar. Okay, you can select any of the structure. You can select model structure, where you create the data model. You can select the code first approach here, where you write codes to structure your application, to create your model. Or you can use database structure, where you should create your database in SQL Server or MySQL or Oracle. Then you will create an entity data model within your MVC application. And here you have the default views. This is a default template, this is a home view, and this is account view. If you can see here, when you have a home controller, this home controller is actually associated with this home view. This account controller is associated with this account view. So in MVC, first thing, you have to create a controller, then you have to associate that controller within the specific model, and then you will create a view to access that model. So when we run our application, okay, just see what happens. Okay, this is a default template of ASP.NET MVC applications. Just look at this URL. When you hit the about button, here you can see there is no page file extension like .aspx or .res or something, .html, .php. This actually works according to the routing protocol that is maintained within your routes script. So it first goes to the home controller, then the about method. Just look at here. Here you have your home controller. Here you have your home controller and about method. So the routing protocol is like your controller name / your method name. So if I create a method, public, and return type will be a string, and the method name will be hello, and I would return do something. So now just look what's going to happen next. Okay, compile my application. Okay, my controller name is home and the method name is hello. So look at here, the controller automatically creates the view to associate that data. So first of all, just see the sequence. When you compile your application, MVC application first hits to your controller. What controller you want to, what thing you want to do, what controller, what page you want to access. Then it will access the specific method that is created within your controller, and then it will do some stuff, and the stuff is do something. We have written the string, we doesn't specify any view, but we doesn't specify any model. It is automatically created and your data has been presented to your user. So this routing is actually maintained within your routes document. So the directory structure in MVC application, or the application structure, is very important. You can see your scripts, here, your routes configuration. This is the most important file in MVC. Here you have specified your route, that URL will be all pages will be accessed like controller name, then action is basically your method name, and then ID is basically like parameter to the specific view or to specific controller. So this is a way MVC structure works, MVC application work. Your request is first hit to your controller will do some stuff, controller may talk to your model, may return a view. Then you have to specify what action you have to perform, and for that action you have to create a method, and for that method you can also specify the view to that specific method. So this is the simplest application, the simplest working of an MVC document. In the next video we will create a model, then we will specify a specific view to the model, and we'll talk to the database while working with our MVC applications. So till then, thank you so much.